All right, 5, 2, 1. All right. Okay, let's spin nice and easy. Just get warmed up, not be in a rush. 5:45 on a Thursday if you're in the Pacific time zone. So it's early. Remember, warm up is just to get you prepared for what's to come. It's not the time to go as hard as you can so you can bank more work, so to speak. We want to make the work count. Just nice and easy. Allow that body to build some heat and get going. Drive with the knees, relax that lower leg. Keep that upper body nice and relaxed. Core engaged, but not bearing down. We'll have some 30-second pickups after this kind of 5-minute easy spin and building the cadence on those as we go through the 6. But if you need to start that intensity down just a little bit, your legs aren't quite ready, definitely turn it down. We're going to be working through some more aerobic type efforts today. A little different than Tuesday, kind of longer sustained efforts, 75, 80, 85%. We'll mix up the cadence a little bit. But just kind of your boring standard aerobic work, which we all need to do, and kind of learn to find it enjoyable. We don't need the power jumping all over the place in a workout to keep us entertained. Kind of find that ability just to settle into the work. Plus, if you're doing Indian Wells at the end of the year, it's just flat and steady. There's no spiking. So unless you get wind, things don't change too much out there in the desert. So just get used to holding that steady, consistent power, which can be quite challenging. Sometimes a hilly effort or hilly course, the varied efforts kind of allow you some micro rests in there. But flatter courses, like if you run the Chicago Marathon, it's the same muscles the entire time. And you're just destroyed by mile 25 because you've been pounding the exact same way. So something we definitely have to work on. All right. Hopefully that cadence has come up a bit just on its own. About another minute. We'll get to our first pickup. Want that cadence to start out in the 80s. We had 85% for 2, 90%, and then 95. So besides the 6x40 20s at the very end, we're under threshold the entire workout. But that does not mean it's not valuable. Good work, but it's not going to bury you. All right. 15 seconds. Start bringing that cadence up just a bit. 2, 1. I turned my intensity down. 1, I'm coaching. 2, even with the 5 minutes of easy spinning, my legs were definitely not ready. 3, 2, 1, nice and easy. Really backing it off. So again, cadence in the 80s. Relax that upper body. Scapula down your back. Don't bring your shoulders up towards your ears. 2, 1. Drive those knees. Use that posterior chain. Curl the hips under. We're not relying on the hip flexors. 2, 1. Yes, they engage a bit, but they're not the driver for the pedal stroke, for bringing that knee up. All right. Effort's going to come up 5% here. 85 or 90, sorry. 2, 1. We were at 85. Nice and still on that saddle. You're working in and out of aero here. Cadence upper 80s, low 90s. 2, 1. Want to be able to do a majority of that main set in aero. Just get in there, stay there. Three, 2, 1. Cadence a little bit higher here. Ten seconds. 2, and 1. That was a long 2. I started the 2 at about 3 seconds left. All right, last round of 30 on, 30 off. Cadence 90 plus. You're feeling good. Get it up into the hundreds in 10. 3, 2, 1. Nice and relaxed. Keep that weight back. Don't clench your bars. 1. Just like if you clench your feet, the lower leg is going to be turned on. If you clench your fingers, your whole upper body is going to be turned on. Want to be as relaxed as we can, except for kind of like your middle, from your diaphragm to above your knees. 2, 1. Last one here. Nice speed on the legs, driving the knees straight up and down. Two, one. All right. All right, 3.5 minutes. Very easy. Talk about generous gym, my God. Doesn't usually make it that long and that easy. So we've got 3 by 15 minutes, 5 minutes at 75, 5 minutes at 80, 5 minutes at 85. Where we can really get into that rhythm. If we get warmed up enough, likely won't feel those little steps as we go. The body will just be ready for it. It should be relatively, I don't want to use the word easy, but how about achievable aerobic work? If it's feeling a bit heavy, maybe turn it down that first one, build into it. Should be work, but attainable work. We're not digging a hole. Should get off the bike, feel like you did something, but if you're on your hydration, you're on your nutrition, should recover relatively quickly from this session. And that's what we want, right? Be able to back up the work. That's real fitness. Anybody can do 1K efforts, you know, with the Norwegians, but how are they going to feel the next day and the day after that? And on race day? Just have to wait and see. So, nice and easy. Gonna get started in 1 minute. This first 5 minutes, let's bring the cadence down slightly, not too far, maybe 72 to 80, depending on kind of where you like to be. Kind of work on getting that posterior chain warmed up. 75% for those who do Ironmans is kind of that upper end of Ironman. So definitely not super, super hard. All right. 10 seconds. Let's start slowing the feet a little bit if you're higher, spinning higher. 2, 1. Slow those feet. 72 to 80 or so. Get in that arrow position. Relax the shoulders. Try to find that good, quiet head space. Just focus on what you're doing in the moment. Don't stare at the clock. Just kind of get lost in the work. I finally broke down and turned on the heat in the house. I was resisting, but now it's making my nose run. Should have just kept it cold. Drive that heel down, float the knee up, lead with the heel across the bottom. That's going to engage that posterior chain. It's taking the brunt of the work here. Don't yank up on those pedals. The knees are just floating up. Wiggle your toes. Don't clench the feet inside the shoe. All right, in 50 seconds, 5-0, you're gonna bring that effort up 80%. You're gonna bring the cadence up as well. Take a little bit of the load off the legs, put it on the heart. Cadence 80 plus, nice and smooth. Fifteen. Cadence chain isn't immediate. You don't have to spin up to max effort or anything. Just inch it up. 80 RPMs. Kind of feel that difference in the resistance on the pedals. Focus on those good, complete circles. Remember, this first 15 minutes, we're 20 minutes into a ride early in the morning. You definitely might feel better on rep number 2. So don't despair if you had to turn it down just a little bit to allow the body to get warm, start to sweat. I don't want to talk the entire time. I want you guys to find that good kind of mindfulness in the silence and getting the work done. Don't want to rely on input while you're riding. Just kind of input from yourself. When you get into that good zone, the minutes kind of just fall away. All right, check in on the shoulders. Relax them. You're building tension. Float the knees up. Drive the heels down and around. All right, 20 seconds. Our last little step up. We're gonna bring that cadence up just a touch. Bit above race pace. Cadence in 3, 2, 1. I want you guys 85 plus here. Nice and light on the pedals. Make sure you're sipping throughout. This type of effort should allow you to be able to sip, take in your nutrition, no problem. We want to practice that. Remember, float the knees up, relax the front of the leg. Wiggle the fingers. Relax the shoulders. Feel like you're tensing. Shrug them up and then drop them down. That juxtaposition. Tilt the hips back. C shape in the spine. No sway. Wiggle your toes. Ten seconds. 2, 1. Nice and easy. Bend those legs out. Whatever cadence feels comfortable. You need to turn the erg off. Definitely do that. And it might be something you spin easier for 3 minutes, and then definitely don't jack it up, but maybe you put a little bit more resistance on the pedals. You know you're going to be up at 75%. So you want to kind of wake the legs up just a little bit. You know, maybe instead of being at 40 or 45% of FTP, up it to 50. So that step up to 75 doesn't feel too bad. But the whole thing here is getting recovered. You keep that cadence up a little bit, that also kind of flushes out the legs. So this time, we're going to start with the cadence higher and go lower each 5 minutes. So that first 5 minutes at 75%, want that cadence 85 plus. And then we're going to come down incrementally, but we're not going to go super low. Always above 70. Just little changes, because when you're riding outside, riding into the wind, riding with the wind, that cadence is naturally going to change, and we want to be comfortable with that at all kind of efforts and resistances. This is also one where you can turn the erg off and just hit that range. You know, if it 75%, you know, 150 to 160 for you, just kind of stay in that zone. Remember, if you're riding outside, you're not just hitting one number the whole time. That effort is keeping that effort range. Power bounces around slightly, totally normal. Just want to learn how to keep that effort level steady so we're not on and off the gas and burning matches. All right, a minute to go here. You let that cadence go down, start to bring it up in preparation for this first 5 minutes at that higher cadence.
Emily, what is that higher cadence?
85 plus.
Okay.
Just like what we did in the final 5 minutes in that first 15-minute build. 85 plus. 3, 2, 1. So because the workout is automatically set to 80 RPMs, we want it to say spin slower this whole 5 minutes. That's your check to make sure that you're spinning above. We're able to have good efficiency on both sides of that race pace cadence. We're going to have great efficiency in that race pace cadence. Plus, kind of having that ability to have fast feet, good for running. The longer you're stuck on the ground and running, the more effort it takes to get you off the ground. So you want to have pitter patter feet, especially when you're running. That's just less load on the lower legs, less effort to toe off. Better to take more slightly shorter strides than less longer strides. And by the end, you don't have that strength for the longer stride. So your cadence is slower and your stride gets slower. It's finding that balance. But definitely don't want to be stuck on the ground. All right, we're in aero, remember. We race an aero, we practice an aero. Makes a difference. You see people who are just starting out, especially in this Olympic year, you got people who are switching over from draft legal racing to non-drafting, getting on TT bikes, and they're some of the best cyclists in the Olympic distance. They get on TT bike, not as good. Run not as good off the bike. It takes practice, no matter who you are. It's a skill, that steady effort. So how you're going to race is how you have to work. And most people aren't just, they're talented, but they're not amazing at it right off the bat. All right, 20 seconds. I'm going to lower that cadence somewhere between, I don't know, 80 and 85. So not too much lower. So the effort comes up 5%. 3, 2, 1. Let that cadence come down just slightly. Feel that load switch. Might find that the heart rate at the increased effort, but with the lower cadence, stays the same. Maybe goes down a beat or two. You just settle in. Wiggle the fingers, relax the elbows. Running through all those check-ins. Hopefully you're so kind of engrossed in what you're doing. You're thinking, is she talking? Is there someone talking? Get into that nice quiet zone. Wiggle those fingers, relax the elbows. Hips back. V-shape in the spine. Knees straight up and down. We don't want them tracking in and out as they bounce off the bottom of the pedal stroke. Three, two, one. Lower that cadence just a little, between 70 and 80. Don't go below 70. We're at 85% here. Remember, this effort, it's doable. I'm doing the effort and I'm talking. So that's where we should be. Relax the scapula. Don't pinch in towards that spine. Rounded upper back, especially when arrow. Going to help you sink that head in. Get that good turtling going. Check in on that core. You want that engaged and solid. So the effort kind of bounces off of it and stays where it should. Feel like when my core is messy, I lose just a bit of power. All right, 2 minutes to go. Every 30 seconds, switch that focus. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. No tension in those calves. Hopefully that cadence has held steady throughout here. Just locked into that rhythm. Three, two, one. Nice and easy. For me, the cadence usually comes up on the recovery. Feel like I'm spinning the legs out. Everyone's different though. Sometimes you slow it down for a little bit and build it back up. So you're sipping. All right, so last round of 15 minutes. I'm going to let you decide to do the cadence however you'd like to do it. Just whatever you do, don't start out thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, you know, during that 5 minutes, you get tired. So you let it slip. Find that rhythm and stay in it. Don't just let yourself become tired and lazy, so to speak. And maybe it's, okay, I'm really good at low cadence stuff, but my higher cadence needs some work. So decide you're going to do that, but then don't start the higher cadence and be like, oh, this is really hard. I'll just go back to my easier effort. Tired can be a permanent status. Lazy, not so much. You can be lazier in the in this time, in the off efforts. But say you have a hilly race coming up, you might need to focus more on the low cadence. Even if you are good at it, you chose a hillier course because, well, I'm good at it. But California, Indian Wells, Arizona, those are all kind of flat. Arizona has that long drag up the beeline, but definitely need higher cadence on the way back down, especially if you have a tailwind coming back down, which is often the case. They always say flat and fast, which is true, but flat is not easy. That's for sure. I was watching the Chicago Marathon, and that's the one open marathon I've done 20 years ago, which is crazy. But you make a right turn off of Michigan onto Roosevelt, and then you make a little jog on the Columbus to the finish. And they call it Mount Roosevelt. It is hardly an incline. No, I was definitely not 14. But it's hardly an incline. But like after just running flat the entire way, it seems like a hill.
Yeah, Emily, I hit that hill. I had run it on a shakeout the day before, going, oh, this is a nice little incline. Then at mile 20, it's like 25 and a half miles, 26 miles, you hit that hill.
It's a mountain.
And it's a mountain.
Yeah.
And everybody's slowing down. But remember, for every hill, there's what? A downhill. And that's what you have to mentally push through. Hey, I'm going up this hill, but I'm going to get a little break. I'm going to go down.
There's no break on Columbus Drive, though. You kind of just, your break is to finish.
So well, you come around that left turn and then you run down the chute, which is a slight downhill. Plus, it's the finish. And it's everything you got.
Yes, but right now, we're starting out our repeat here, and we are not giving everything we have.
No. This is mile 13. It's a steady pace, cadence, focusing on nutrition, sustaining you, getting you ready for the end.
Knees straight up and down. in your choice cadence, whatever you are deciding to work on. Just pretend like this is number one, not number three. You gotta trick yourself. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Getting towards the end. Legs might be a little tired, so you have a tendency to start to lean forward. Lean back.
So Emily, going back to the marathon and the running, some people might say, why? I got a marathon coming up or half marathon. Why am I biking? And I'll tell you, halfway through that race, my quads were screaming. And if I hadn't done my bike workouts, it would have been cramping like half the other people.
Well, aerobic development, definitely. Extra work without the pounding, but no matter what, you have to do the pounding to prepare for that. And I firmly believe that it takes years to build that up. You can't just do one marathon build and build in good pounding and think that you're going to get away with not feeling like shit, basically, for part of the marathon. But if you do it for years and years and years, your legs kind of get more used to that pounding. And then say you do a marathon 5 to 7 years after you've started running, it's a little less. So like anything, it's not a one training round process. It's years and years. What my legs can take now, even at my advanced age, Jordan, I'm not young, is a lot more than they could take in 2004 when I did my first marathon. So all right, we came up a little bit. Find that cadence rhythm, whatever you're going for. Even as you're tiring, hold on to that good form. You lose form, you lose efficiency. So if you go too hard in workouts, just to make a certain pace, a certain power at crappy form, you're actually not really building good efficiency and strength. So you're always going to hit that ceiling. Better to be 5 seconds difference on your pace, 10 watts different with good maintainable form. And then that ceiling is going to be higher. Relax the feet. You're still in arrow. That core is still solid. Those knees are straight up and down. Wiggle the fingers, relax the elbows, shrug the shoulders, drop them down. "15 seconds. You come up one last time. In 10. Keep that cadence smooth and steady wherever you are. 2, 1. All right. I have a 7 a.m. meeting. The joys of working with people in different time zones. So I have to go. You guys finish this up together and have a great day.
So
Bye,
this is
everyone.
one more and then a rest. And then we got some spikies. Keep that slow pace going. Try to get around 80 RPMs. Steady. Need to just count the minutes. 1 minute at a time. What does Jim always say? 30, right? All right, let's count 30 left. Woo. All right, halfway. Almost to the top of that hill. All right, almost to the top. Woo. Keep going. You're dropping that cadence. Try to pick it up a little here. Back up. You want to cruise over the top of that hill. There it is. Woo. Good job. Get your water in. Oh. Like Jim gave us a few efforts to remind us all. Efforts at the end. You stay on, that's great. Only 6 quick little guys. Good stuff. Good to keep spinning after a steady run like that. Move the lactate through your legs. Different aerobic levels. Everybody else have 2 minutes? What, Lynn? Come on, everybody can unmute. There's no gym.
We're recording, so he's gonna know.
It's okay. Always watching, right? Always watching. Even if you think he's not. That's keeping us accountable, right? That's
a little scary thought that he's always watching.
Yep. Being accountable. You know, a lot of us all work out on our own time. That's what we have, is to be accountable. Do our workouts. We know someone's going to be looking at it later. We want to be accountable. All right, here we go. Get that high cadence going. $40. Yeah. Work that higher cadence here. Keeps that cadence and the power up. Here we go. Come on, you can do it. All right, that's 2. Push it through. Keep it going. Keep that cadence up. All right. 4. Ah. Only 2 left. You're gonna be quick. There it is. Keep that cadence going. Start to drop a little. Slight more push. To that gate. All right, last one. Try and TT. Don't look up. Keep that TT position. Focus on the cadence. You need to count that pedal stroke. Just tens. Ah. Get to that gate. There it is. Good job, everyone. All right, hop off. Or spin it out if you can for another 5 minutes. Some of you have a quick run. Probably better to jump into that. Unless coach gave you a longer bike. Anthony, how long is your bike today? 90
What's that?
minutes? How long is your bike?
How long did I bike?
No, how did Jim just give you 90 minutes or?
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get off here in a little bit. Little run. Taper time.
Oh.